welcome back to the bench. Today we're going to continue with the transmission. In the last video we put the transmission, part of the transmission together, the clutch and the motor. And today we're going to put the gears in the transmission, and we'll do another part where we put the functions, the shifting functions, in the transmission. So let's get started. Alright, now at this point we're going to want to make sure that we put in the machined gears in places where the regular gears go, because this kit comes with a machined gears, steel gears, and we will be using those. So the instructions would not tell you when to put them in. You're going to have to figure that out as you go, because they're going to be replacing some of the other gears. Okay? So we will figure that out as we go, where the machined gears go. Alrighty. Because there's no instructions, I don't think. Okay, so we got this done. Now there is bearing, two bearings, one goes here and the other goes here. Alright, so we got the two bearings. Nice. I like it, I like it, I like it. Alright, next, after those two bearings, there are two pins. Okay, one goes here. Then the next is another shaft. Which one? Again, it tells you, shows you a picture of the shaft, the length, all that good stuff. And that goes in here. And it has a pin also in that shaft. Okay, let's make sure we get the right size pin in the right shaft. The top pin up here is a shorter one, and this is a longer one. Alright, now the gears. And we will want to put grease on these gears. But let's get the gear figure out which gears we're doing what with. This is replaced. This is replaced. This. At this point, you guys, if you didn't get the machine gears, you wouldn't do this. So let me try to figure this out. If you do get the machine gears, then yeah, you're going to be doing that. Okay, these two are replaced. This one is replaced. This gear is replaced. This gear is replaced. And this gear is replaced. Possibly these two gears. We'll see what that looks like when we get there. Alright, so I need just a big gear. Some grease on this gear. Alrighty. The pin back in, and this gear. All right. Got some grease on the gear, and the gears are in. And now the end plate, which has a bearing, Shelby. Dog barking at the mailman. Okay, so the end plate goes on right there. It's held on by two different screws. One is a offset type screw. You can see the beveled, I should say. One is a beveled screw. Alright, and then the other one is a 12 millimeter. Goes into the right hand side. There's not one in here because it's probably something else goes there along with it. And of course, then this one's a different size. Alrighty then. Transmission's looking good. The next part is, okay, so this gear is going to be covered. And you have two choices here. You can put on this little thing that says Vanquish on it, or you can put on this little shifting knobs for scale points. And I am going to put on the shifting one. If I can find out what I did with it. You can put this cover on. Got a little Vanquish symbol on it. And I don't know what happened to the one with the little shifting knobs, shifting shafts. What I did with it. So for now, I will put this one on. And I'll find it later, maybe. Some little teeny tiny screws. And not to sound like a broken record, but you don't want to over torque these little screws. You just won't get them out. They're not going to come out. They will not fall out. Alright, next we have this plate that fits in this, made out of metal, and there are 4 bearings that go into this plate. Okay, very cool. Now, .23 tooth gear, and this is one of the gears that was replaced, I do believe, and that has a pin, a small pin, holds that gear in place. Now, if you guys got big old fingers like I do, a pair of needle nose pliers, slide that in there. There we go. Get it centered. And put a little grease on this gear. That little pin slid out of the way from where it should be. Okay, gear number 1, and it has a clip, a C-clip. Okay, if you're not familiar with E-clips, C-clips, whatever you want to call them. They can shoot across the room when you're trying to put them on. I used a pair of needle nose pliers and squeeze them on real gently, like that. Okay, if you don't careful, they'll shoot across the room. Okay, so now we got the C-clamp on there, the E-clip on there. Next thing you have to do is put in this little piece here that goes on this. There's a little nub right here that goes on, and you have a 12, I guess. We'll see. Okie dokie, that goes in there. Good deal. Alright, so we got the C-clip on here. We got that little piece here. Next, following down the instructions, you want to take one of these shafts, place one of these little moving parts for the shifting the gears, and then check the size of the gears that go on, and it looks to me like there are this gear here, no, one's bigger than the others, I think. This is a 30 tooth. Now they say they're the same gear. Bearing inside of that gear. Place that on the side of the shaft that does not have the hole. Another bearing inside of there. It's a little larger than the one that you put on the other side. And then one of these little small washers. Alrighty. You do that twice. Put the bearings in. This with the hole going the opposite. The holes on the second one, the hole goes this way. Then the bearings, the gears with the little nubs go there, and then the washer. Alright, so now you have two of those built. Again, one of them has the pinhole going one way, the other one has the pinhole going the other way. Alright, again, follow the pictures, you'll be fine. Alright, so we got those built. Then there's a third one that you build for the center. I don't have to build that piece, but if you have to build that piece, you have a small shaft that is like a hexagon. Where the heck did that go? Here. Then you take the one gear, the smaller gear, then you have these spacers, okay, and you figure out which one you need. And in this case, it looks like the smallest of those. The small gear goes on, then it has little cuts in it. They're very hard to see. And that goes on here. And then the next gear oh no, nothing goes on there. Just like that. Okay? So turn the page, no, went down here at the bottom. Place the gear with the hole here, goes on the far side. I'm going to say that side. The other one with the hole on the outside goes here, and the third one, this one, in my case this one, will go here. Okay, I have a different set of gears that came with the vehicle. Alright, so we got all those in. Turn a page, pick up the housing here, and install the bearing plate on the bearings. I'm going to put the bearings in the plate, and then set the plate inside. Okay, so the bearing plate, put the bearings in it, and only go in one way. Drops in there. Then you have a lockout, metal lockout here. And that goes into this. I'm going to make sure I put this in the right way. Orient this way. This goes in like so. Okay. Whoops. My bearings fell out. The bearings back in. Alright, so this goes. Just look at the picture and make sure you get it oriented correctly. It goes in, this slides into there. And then on the back side, it has two screws. And these are 12 millimeters, but they are beveled. And these are metal going into metal. So we will use a little Loctite. And screw those in. They go in pretty simple, easy. You don't need cut no threads. You're going metal into metal. That's why we want Loctite. Alrighty then. So now we got the lockout in, the gears, and not the gears. Anywho. Bearings and a lockout plate. Alright, now, the next thing is, at the end of this shaft, one of these shafts, this one, is a C-clamp, or E-clamp. There's a little slot in the shaft that the clamp fits in. Oh, these are probably some of the most frustrating things to put on, in my opinion. Alright, got it locked in place. Then the next thing is on this shaft, which seems to be awful long. We need to go back and look at something. Something is not quite right. This shaft should not be this long. Alright, these two shafts are different. Even though the picture shows them with the same part number, these two shafts are different. One of them has an indent on it, and one of them does not. If you look at this, these two are different, even though if you look at the pictures, they look the same. Or actually, they have the same part number, but they don't. Okay, so the one with the, I don't know if you can see this, one of them has an indent or has been shaved, and this one is not. So the one that has not been shaved goes to the outside one here. I'm going to call this the outside. Right here. It goes here like this. Okay, the other one I lost a bearing there. It goes here. So there's two different ones. When you put it in here, you want this to be the same length as the center shaft, not this outer shaft. And we have everything in there. Now that I've got all of them in, we'll put a little grease on these. Bearings. I mean, jeez. Gears. I do believe I'm at the point where I'll be glad this one's done. Just be very careful and pay real close attention to the drawings. Okay, So now we have all of those in, greased up. We will then go to the next page. Okay, so after we got all those 3 shafts in there, then we need to put this gear last gear with these 3 teeth on the bottom. Need to put a bearing in both sides of the gear. I'm going to get this gear in there. There we go. This goes on here. This goes on here. And another one of those little washers. Goes on here. I'm gonna make sure. All right, we got all those in. Then we need to put this cover on. It'll only go one way. Don't go crazy trying to get it in there. All right. Very good. We got it all together. Now, some long screws. A real long screw. The real long screw goes in this one. Then some shorter ones, 12 millimeter here. And one more on the bottom. Okay, transmission is in. Together. And at this point, we're going to stop. The next thing we'll be talking about is putting the gears in and then putting it in the chassis. But I think that's enough for one day. You all right? You all have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.